bards and bardettes. Welcome back to I Cast Vicious Mockery. I'm Austin. How do you like your eggs?
That's what you meant by running?
Yep.
I was gonna pretend I had a runny nose. It depends. If I have toast, over easy.
Okay.
If I don't have toast, scrambled.
Well, all right. What kind of scramble? High heat, small pieces scramble, or low heat, big pieces scramble?
I'm not picky about it, honestly. I'll eat it either way, scrambled.
I tried Gordon Ramsay's scrambled egg recipe. Can you call it that? Scrambled egg technique.
Yeah, technique method. Yes, I've heard of this.
Right. Of doing it over low heat, and they're like fully scrambled, first of all. So it's not like a partial, you know what I'm talking about, where there's like, you could tell it's like fully whipped together, basically, I think. At least that's how I've done it since then. And you do it over very low heat. And as soon as it starts to cook a little bit, you take it off the heat and stir. It does something crazy to the eggs. It takes them, however, like I like, for me, a normal amount of eggs to eat is like 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Which is not normal for a normal person, maybe, but it's, considering what I saw growing up, not from my family, but from like people who I admired and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I only eat 6 eggs at a time is an embarrassment.
You're talking about Gaston.
Yeah.
Because now that he's grown, he eats 5 dozen eggs.
And he's roughly the size of
a
big.
barge.
He's like huge.
He's a barge.
What? That's not how it goes.
Oh,
have you even heard the song?
Right. He's huge. You're right.
Yeah.
No, you were right. You're right. You're right.
Speaking of huge, we got to talk about something after this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After we record?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
If we remember. We're not going to remember.
I'm not going to remember.
Yeah.
Every time either of us has said that reminds me of something, let's talk about it after the show. Never. You sometimes remember when you edit the show.
That's true. I generally, yes, I will then send you a message on Discord.
Right.
Hey Google, at 9 o'clock. No, that's too early.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Hey Google, at 9:30, remind me huge.
Okay, I'll at 9:30 p.m.
Awesome.
She remind me huge.
That's
She's
happy to help.
She said happy to help. That's
all right.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, now the thing that it does to the eggs, anyway, is it like compresses them somehow. It becomes one of the most rich foods I've ever eaten.
Okay.
It's crazy because normally I could eat eight eggs and be like, that was a nice snack. In the same way that like you can eat
an entire bag of Doritos.
I was going to say like 2 handfuls of goldfish.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a similar kind of thing where like I can eat 8 eggs and then later on be like, I can go for some eggs now. And I only don't eat them later because I already did that day. And like, I feel like I shouldn't.
You have to conserve your eggs for next time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's not even that I wouldn't do it. I would just do it again, but it feels like socially unacceptable or something like that.
What, do you like your wife? Who else would even know?
Yeah, exactly my wife.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and probably my dog.
Basket. Yeah, but it's because of Basket, your dog. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, that's why I have to. So try Gordon Ramsay's egg recipe.
Technique.
Because
Method.
they're really good.
You see,
it's like its own meal as a result, instead of being like something that, because I'll take 8 eggs and throw in an entire pan full of like vegetables. No, 8 isn't enough. Maybe 12 is enough for that. Basically, I fill up the pan as though it's like an egg soup, and then I stir it all together and make like an omelet thing with vegetables. That's awesome. Do that sometimes, all the time.
I made just yesterday. I made gumbo. And I messed it up a bit, But I got oh my gosh, motorcycle. That was loud.
Yeah, we get a lot of those up here.
Yeah,
Just like a street away, we get. What's it like down there?
it's pretty quiet, honestly. I know.
If
Well,
only, man. Because 6th Street, I would think, is kind of loud, but you're kind of in the middle between two streets.
yeah, 6th Street isn't nearly as loud as 8th Street is. 8th Street is very loud.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a lot of traffic. 6th Street doesn't get as much. 6th Street gets mostly local traffic,
Right.
like people who know the area,
Mhm.
because they avoid 8th Street, which is a lot busier.
Which is where people drag race.
Which is where people avoid. That's the one they go on to avoid 12th Street. But 12th Street usually ends up actually being another good bet because it's so much bigger. It has 2 lanes, 2 lanes of traffic each way.
Oh, you mean it's a good bet for traveling on?
Yes.
Yeah.
8th Street actually gets backed up, I think, more often than 12th Street does.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And way
Big
more
time.
than 6th Street. 6th Street never gets backed up.
No. Well, except at that one stop sign near the park.
Oh, yeah, over there. But
then you're just like trying to navigate this like.
yeah, it's like a maze, man. Can we talk about how many 5 street intersections there are here? Okay, no, it's fine. So I already lost track of what we were talking about, but
Eggs,
right. Gordon Ramsay, I made gumbo.
Yeah, okay.
I made gumbo.
But you messed it up.
But I messed it up. Yeah, it was a more advanced recipe than maybe for my skill level. I'll try it again because I did a pretty good job, except for the hardest part.
What was the hardest part?
Making the roux.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I understand.
The heat was too high.
Mm-hmm. And so it got burned.
I burned the roux quite a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because it said, I don't know. I'm like, I have a gas oven.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a gas oven? You have a gas oven.
Yep.
So it says medium heat, but medium heat is definitely not like the middle of the thing.
No, it's like low heat.
It's
On mine, it's like a 3, where 5 I think is medium, or 6 or something. is medium.
Yeah. The gas burner goes up to 10 for mine too, and so I put it at 5, but that was way too hot. So I burned the roux. It still tastes pretty good, all things considered, which is why I want to try it again, because if I can get the roux right, then I think it'll be like really good.
Right.
Anyway. But yeah. I made it for myself, but also not just myself, because 2 of our friends have never had gumbo before, they said.
Oh, me too.
You've never had gumbo?
I'm not that interested in having gumbo though.
Have you?
To be honest.
Have you ever had andouille sausage though?
Nope.
Which is often used in gumbo.
I don't think so.
Oh man, that stuff is good.
I don't like almost any sausage.
Really, you don't like sausage?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
Most of the time, yeah.
It's not one of the things I would get mad about. There are some foods where if somebody told me they don't like it, I might get mad about it.
Whatever it is that makes me not like Mexican food is used in most sausage.
Is it just spice? Some
kind of spice.
Spice of some kind, I guess. Yeah,
but
it'd
to
have
me
to be.
it tastes like vomit. So, oops.
Whoops.
Yep, don't like that.
All vomit.
And whatever it is used heavily in the school sausages that they gave us in grade school.
No, those just tasted like vomit.
Oh, okay. It wasn't just me.
No, that was gross. Yeah.
Yeah, those things were nasty.
There are some places that you can go for breakfast where they give you sausage, and I'm like, this is not sausage.
No.
This is like what I don't even know what it is in some places. We have a place.
And I know it's not just me being like, oh, gross. It's the wrong parts of the meat. Because like I've eaten tripe and that was delish. And I've eaten liver and that's good. And like,
I've never had either of those. I've never had tripe. What is tripe?
Stomach lining of a beef, like cow stomach lining.
Is it cheap? I'm sure it would be, but maybe not. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, actually, it is relatively cheap.
I was going to say, because nobody wants to eat
and it's
that.
hard to prepare.
Okay.
It's like, and very smelly to prepare.
Like a blowfish.
Yeah.
except probably not as dangerous.
Not as dangerous, way more smelly. Your whole house is going to smell like tripe, which think of the inside of a cow's stomach and what's being produced, right? Like,
Yep.
that's kind of what a tripe is going to smell like a little bit all day.
Where do
for
you
hours
get
and hours.
tripe?
Cleveland, I was at a dim sum place with
Yep.
the Lees.
Okay.
They could order off the secret menu and they got all sorts of cool stuff. And I got to try some tripe and it was great. They were like, "Do you know what that is?" And I was like, "It looks like, I don't know, is it tripe?" And they were like, "Yeah, do you know what that is?" And I was like, "It's really good."
No, I don't know. It was really good.
Yeah, but no, I did know what it was,
Yeah.
so it was fine. I was gonna do it anyway.
I just know it because in the Harry Potter movies, it's one of the every flavor beans that nobody
That's right.
likes.
Yeah,
That
tripe's good, dude.
I think we have different tastes, so I'm not so sure
Clearly.
if I'm not so sure if I would like it, but maybe I would.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would. I don't know.
So here's what got me to like weird amounts of eggs and crazy food.
Okay.
Jujimufu.
Yep, I know him.
You guys know about Jujimufu?
If you don't, you should.
You really should.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, I looked up to Jujimufu because he wasn't that much older than me. And he still isn't that much older than me. He's 30, 2011, he turned 26. So now he's 36, I think.
Okay.
Not that much older than us.
No.
He's old enough that, like, in my family, he'd be my third oldest brother. Like, my oldest brother, then the next one, then next would be Jujimufu.
Oh,
You know
I
what I'm
see.
talking about?
Because you're
So-
spacing out your brother.
Right, yeah. If they're all spaced
yeah.
evenly, then he'd be two brothers away from...
I was confused
my
for a
top brother.
second because Austin only has one older brother.
Right.
But now I understand what you mean because your older brother is 3 years older than you.
Mhm. Yeah, so if you just keep going
But
like
if you
that,
just keep going up,
that's how I
Yeah.
determine how, like, old somebody feels relative to me.
is compared to your brother. I could do that same
compared
thing.
to my sibling. Yeah, I just go in either direction, and I'm like, well, I just go by 3-year increments, but that's how many siblings I imagine them to be older than me or younger than me.
Wait, is your younger brother 3 years younger than us?
He is like 2.5 years younger than us.
So yeah, it's about the same then.
Yeah, but he's
Huh.
only 2 grades younger, so
Right.
that's where it throws it off. But yeah,
That's-
he's like 3 years younger. No, maybe he is 3 grades younger than us.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know either.
I mean, we're all out of school.
Me too.
Yeah. All out of school.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah. So Jujimufu, he's not that much older than us.
Nope.
I agree.
He did cool stuff. He like, back when I found out about him, I was it was in 20. No, I can't start the year with 20 because it's 2007. Is what I was trying to say.
Yes, I was going to say
2006 or 7.
we were in grade school together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely I remember that.
And my friends and I were trying to get into parkour.
That I was one of them.
And I'm telling them.
Uh-huh. Oh, I know.
And you were one of them.
I was there for
But
some
then
of
I
this.
found something cooler than parkour,
Yes, you did.
which was tricking.
Or
Some people would call it martial arts tricking or stuff like that, just because it was a little bit less ambiguous with what it meant.
and I found out eventually too that some people call the activity that ladies of the night participate in tricking
Or boys.
or boys.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, they usually use the phrase turn a trick.
Yes, that's true.
So you don't say that you're going tricking, but yeah, they do call it that.
Yeah.
They
But
do
this is
call it that.
different. This is different.
It is different than that. It's a like form of mixed acrobatics, right? And
yeah, it's like gymnastics and martial arts and sort of parkour elements sometimes.
yep.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I was never any good at it, really.
No, I wasn't at all.
I still kind of plan on being good at some parts of it. I can actually, no, I can't say I was never good at anything because I could do a couple of 540 kicks and 720 kicks. So like that's decent. That's better than your average person, but it's like entry level tricking stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to give you an like an idea, like 720-degree turn is not that much in tricking. It's like where your average backyard trickster could get to, or tricker. Actually, some people prefer trickster and some people prefer tricker.
What about treat?
You would treat.
Trick or treat.
All
Okay.
right. Anyway, though,
Happy Halloween.
Jujimufu was really good at that. He did like weightlifting and stuff too, so he was really buff for somebody who did tricking.
He was buff
Mhm.
for a guy who did tricking. Yeah.
And which is funny because if you compare teenage Jujimufu with current Jujimufu, he was not buff back then. He was compared to like me now,
Right.
or any other average person, but now he's two of those.
Yeah, he's oh boy, he's strong buff guy. Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. But the other thing was that he shared a lot of his thoughts on diet and exercise and tricking and all that stuff. He made tutorials. He had examples of how to plan your diet and stuff like that. And it was just all on his website, trickstutorials.com.
Oh, trickstutorials.com.
I spent a lot of time on trickstutorials.com.
You sure did.
I really did.
And you talked about it a lot.
I talked about it a lot, probably way too much.
You talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind, but
Yeah.
you talked about it a lot.
So listen, today I am Jujimufu from trickstutorials.com, and that's a little joke from one of his. You guys go find that. You guys go find that video of his where he says that.
He says it in a lot of them, doesn't he?
No,
or was there one particular one?
He usually says, I'm Jujimufu from trickstutorials.com, and today I'm going to show you whatever, but he messed it up on one of them and then forgot that he already did that tutorial. So then he was like, all right, well, like, I already did this one. I'm not filming anymore. And then that way he posted that.
Nice.
So,
all right.
that it's not on his YouTube channel though, guys. You're going to have to go find it. I'm telling you. Go dig in.
It's somewhere out there?
It's out there.
Okay.
It's on my tricking playlist, I believe. Somewhere, maybe. So listen.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this? Honestly, I just wanted to as part of it.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
That's kind of where I started realizing that like you can improve yourself in a lot of ways, right? I mean, part of that was from martial arts, but that didn't make me think of improving my body and my like abilities in the same way for some reason, as what Jujimufu's website did. I don't know. It just different things work for different people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, you can never be totally sure what will motivate you.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
That's why, like, if you're passionate about something, it's good to just go after it. Just do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out there and do it.
Although I think that advice is tricky because some people misinterpret that or interpret it differently. Maybe this is how you meant it, but I wouldn't give it the same way as this. I wouldn't say if you're passionate about something, make that your job right now. I would say if you're passionate about something, you should be finding more ways to spend time doing that.
Yeah. No, don't like quit your job and go start doing something that you are a hobbyist at right now. That's a bad idea.
Right. But like make improvements to your life, gradually get to the point where you're doing more of that thing that, you know, you're passionate about. And if you can do it as a full-time job, I would say go for it. You know, like it is okay to spend all that much time doing it. Yeah, I think it's good, actually. It's desirable. But some things are not jobs.
And that's true too. And that's okay. You don't have to do something don't feel like anything that you care about or that you want to pursue has to eventually be a job,
Right.
because it doesn't.
Yeah, there are other ways to take things to the next level.
Because sometimes what that will do, sometimes making something that you care about into a job will actually make you not want to do it anymore.
Right. Well, it has been shown that people who are given external rewards for things that they used to just get internal rewards for, when the external reward is taken away, they do it less than they started doing it. So like
Yeah.
if you don't get paid for something and you do it 10 hours a week, then you do get paid and you do it 20 hours a week. When you stop getting paid, you do it 5 hours a week, for instance.
Right. Yeah.
And there's been I've read a lot of self-improvement type books.
Me too.
And at this point, I think I'm convinced that maybe half of it is true, but I don't know which half.
It's hard to tell, but I think also what you said earlier is true as well.
Mhm.
Different
Different things work for different
work
people.
for different people.
I think a lot of people try
Yeah.
to give advice that they think is for everybody, but really shouldn't apply to everybody.
Yeah, I like the way you said that. Shouldn't apply for everybody, because it doesn't.
Right.
There are plenty of things that I've read that and I've been like, I just don't get that.
Mhm.
And it's
See,
even
I
stuff,
don't know if I do that. I don't know if I read it and I'm like, no, I don't get that. I think I have to try it, and until then, I assume it's true. Something like that.
maybe.
I mean, I'm saying we might be different there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably. No, because I don't really feel like I have to try something to know for sure if it will work for me or not.
Yeah.
What?
I think a balloon just flew by the window. A deflating balloon.
That's what it sounded
It did
like.
sound like that.
It did sound like a yeah.
Deflating balloon.
Deblating balloon. It sounded like a deblating balloon by the window.
You deflating balloon.
Oh, that's a great insult. You deblating balloon. I can't believe you remember the Scottish guy that would heckle Samurai Jack on the bridge.
That's exactly what I was just thinking about. Yeah.
You're like spitting
like
on
5
him.
minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then they become friends, I think.
Oh yeah, eventually.
All right. So anyway, we're talking about all this self-improvement type stuff. I think there is something you can do with D&D.
Okay.
And I learned this technique from Jujimufu.
Good
of all
teacher.
people.
Yeah, good teacher.
You can go to his site, acrobolics.com. It's a separate website that he has. I think also jujimufu.com. You can get to his stuff from there. But this one's on acrobolics.com. So don't go to the other ones for this. He wrote an article about a thing that he did because his chest was too small and his arms were too small. Now, he was already ripped, but he is built like a bodybuilder now. In fact, he's doing a bodybuilding meet soon. His first one, Mr. Olympia. He's going to go try to compete. And he, before he was like, I can't, get myself to get the big arms and stuff. I'm just too focused on the legs and the tricking and whatever. So he took a D&D character sheet and he filled it out. And here's what he did. And this is backed up by psychology. So we're going to get to that in a little bit, but he created a person, a character that he could play, that he could be when it was arms day, when it was chest day, actually, specifically, I think. This guy, his name was Oat Grommet. Heck yeah, Oat Grommet. And you know what?
Yeah.
Oat Grommet
flew to the moon to make sure it was made of cheese. Sorry. Anyway.
No. But Oat Grommet, Oat's a big dude. His arms are especially big. Do you think he wears sleeves? No.
No, it never.
Always long pants, though. probably jeans when he works out, actually, or other like loose baggy sweatpants.
Yeah.
So you can't see his tiny little chicken legs, because Oat Grommet has some tiny little chicken legs, but he doesn't care because he's out there posing his gigantic arms and stuff, right? Oat Grommet wears a shirt that's like specifically for bench pressing. It's like padded on the front. All right.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what it's for. That's his life's purpose. His gym bag, he has his own gym bag. All right. He has his own stuff in there. He's got his own protein shakers and things like that. Like he goes through the stats of Oat Grommet. Like what would he be good or bad at? Would he be good at charisma? No. He's the guy who's like curling in the squat rack. Right? Like he's
Yeah.
like he's obnoxious. He's
Yeah.
not charismatic.
Right.
Right? But his strength is super high, and he, what's his equipment? He has this certain equipment. What abilities does he have? He can superset all sorts of stuff with just his arm. Like he's just going to focus on that, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant because that works so well. You put on the uniform, right? You change into this character, and you go in and you do it, right? Now that's not the part that's backed up by psychology, because this is where it gets fun.
This is where it gets fun.
This is where it gets fun. I wasn't even having fun yet.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So listen, the real cool part is that it is easier. And gosh, I don't know if I'm going to find a source for this. I think if I look through a Scott H. Young post, I can find the original like source, which is a scientific paper. So where it actually backs this up. But let's just assume that I'm correct for now, and you could check for yourself later. It is easier to figure out and explain like why you can't do something than it is to just do that thing. So for instance, if you are stuck, let's say you're stuck on a math problem.
Mm-hmm.
No. Let's do writing, because that's more applicable to D&D. All right, you're trying to write something, and you kind of have some idea of what the characters should be doing, or that sort of thing, but you can't figure out like what order the sequence should go in, or something like that, right? Like you're laying out the plot of this section of the story, and you're trying to figure out like what scenes you should show. All right. And you just can't figure it out. What you would do to be more successful with this is you would start by saying, all right, you would start by writing as though you're writing the story. I'm having trouble writing this scene because, and then you start describing why you're having trouble writing it. And then you start describing what you should do about that to fix it. And it works better than just trying to work through the problem.
Well, basically what you're doing is you're actively acknowledging what the problem is. Because what people do, it's this is something that I know that you would be familiar with. Oh man, we've read so many books. I know that you've read a lot of the same books that I have because we've had to, but I don't even remember which one this is in. Maybe you can help me remember. But it's something where if something's bothering you, just in life, and you can't, like you want to, like if you feel like you should complain about it, like you feel like you want to complain about something, basically, it's basically says, you just ask yourself, is there something I can do about it?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, figure out what it is and then do it. And if the answer is no, then don't waste your time worrying about it.
Right.
Because there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, exactly. Which to me is like really relieving. I don't know.
Mhm.
Some people might find that more stressful, but
Yeah. Well, I think that's what this is about. This is
yes,
about
exactly.
figuring out where this falls in that, right? Like whether this
Right.
falls in the actually I can't do this. It actually is out of my control, or I can do this. And there is actually a way to affect this.
Right.
Um,
Which is so I did that because there
Mhm.
was something I couldn't even tell what it was that was bothering me. So
Mhm.
I just kind of like took a walk
yeah.
and like put some like soothing music on with no words. And I just thought about it. I was like, what is going on? And that's actually why I decided to split up the groups for D&D
Mhm.
because I was like, I was like, okay, here are some people that I don't think are having fun. And I'm not having fun.
Right.
Right. I felt like that.
There definitely was fun to be had,
Right.
and there were fun moments and stuff. But I think on the whole, probably in a situation where there are that many players, it's hard. The density of fun is low. It's
Yes.
low fun density. And when you go through all the effort of planning like a group activity, you're you should try to make it high fun density,
Exactly.
because otherwise it's easier to just do some other low fun density thing that you would have been doing anyway, like play on your phone or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So that's how I came to the conclusion of okay, maybe we should just do the sessions separately.
Right.
Um, which if you're watching the show but not involved in the game that we play,
Mm-hmm.
you would probably not know that. But I there were 7 players. Now there are 8 players.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it just wasn't working the way that I felt like it did at the beginning. I feel like at the beginning things were pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but something wasn't quite clicking. So interestingly enough, half the players live in one city. They visit sometimes, but half of the players live in one city and half the players live in the other city. So I was just like, all right, all the players that live in this city will do that their session, and it made sense because the whole plot of the game is that you guys are trying to find gems to destroy
Right.
for this thing that tells you that you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's promising all of you something that you don't feel like you could get otherwise, maybe, if you do this thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually made sense to split the party because it's like it's completely reasonable for the characters to say, okay, this is really taking a really long time.
Yep.
We should maybe divide and conquer here. So it worked out, but we've only had one session separately so far, so maybe it's not exactly.
We'll see how it turns out.
We'll see how it turns out. So far, I would say I think it was a good idea.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah.
We'll see it. We'll find out. All right. So there's more.
Yes.
Well, actually, you know what? This is, I guess, to expound on the previous topic a little bit. It's the thing that I run into at work, where I'm given a task that I don't know how to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I end up figuring it out on my own, because every time I come up with a question that I can ask my supervisor, I then go, wait a minute, I know how to find the answer to this question. And then I find the answer to it, and then I get stuck at a later part of the task.
Right.
And it keeps happening. And they think I'm doing a good job because of that. But the secret is, I just don't want to waste their time. I don't want to go up to them and say, hey, help me. I want to like go up to them with a question. So I only ask them a question when I can't figure out the answer myself. And it turns out that most of the time when I get that urge to like, hey, I need help, I don't have the question formulated yet. I don't
Right.
know what it is that I need help with yet. And if I just take the time to like think about that, that does the work. And that's kind of like what this does, but it's even easier when you do it for someone else. Actually, I guess I do that at work too. So somebody else gets stuck on something and they ask me and I go, oh, here's what the question is that you need to be asking. How do we find this? And we immediately find the answer to it, even though it's not something I knew. I just am like, all right, we got it. You know how to do this or something. I don't know why I knew that. I certainly am not qualified for this. Right. So this is something you run into, is that it's easier to give other people advice. So when you are struggling with something in your life, you don't even have to play D&D. You can just get this benefit just by making a character, which is so cool. But you can also do it through your gameplay and like get used to, figuring out how this character would navigate the world. But just making the character is enough to improve your life. You just figure out like, what is it, that I want to be better at? What do I want to improve? And who could do that? Who does it right? Who's good at this? What would they need to act like? What would their background be? What equipment do they have? Right? What abilities do they have? What feats do they take? Right? And you try to build that person. And then by doing that, you just go, oh wait. That's the answer. Like, I just need to act like that person. And then you end up figuring out a whole lot of stuff. For instance, I guess here's an example that I could use. I want to, be really good at podcasting, maybe. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe I do.
Yeah, maybe.
Who would be really good at podcasting? And what would they be like? They're going to have a high charisma score.
Yeah, certainly.
They're also going to, like the ways that they talk are going to be interesting on their own. They have to use interesting like phrases and ways of wording things where it's not just like a very straightforward thing all the time. To me personally, I like when they say something and I'm like, I never thought to put those words together like that.
That's why we have this linguistics podcast, so that we can
exactly
wordsmith a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah, like wordsmith. That's good. That's a good one. I'm just like, all right, ooh, that's
Maybe am I good at podcasting? Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? And what would their background be like? Well, it could be some, probably they're going to be a person who has had certain experiences that make them, excited to talk about, first of all, the experiences they've had and what they've learned. And, so the excitement is going to be part of it, right? Like you have to have something that you think is important to say and be excited to get out and say it all the time. Right?
Yes. Being interested in what you're talking about is important for something like a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be part of it. Now, what's this dude's name? What's a really good podcast name? I think it's going to be something. I got the middle word.
Oh boy, a middle word.
Well, they're going to have a title.
Oh, okay.
They're going to have a title. So the middle word is maybe that's cheating.
That's what you meant when you say you got the middle word? It's the?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But something like Brad the Voice. You know what I'm talking about?
Brad
like
the Voice.
The Voice.
Man, that's quite the title.
That's a big title.
That's a big title.
But why does he have that title, though? Well, that's probably because, well, first of all, his name's Brad. That's easy part.
Yep.
But why is he the Voice? Is it because his voice is really nice? Maybe not. But it's because of the way he uses his voice, right? Like
I think he's like the voice of the people.
Is he the voice of the people or something? Who knows? He could be.
Maybe.
I don't think the people need a voice. Let's be real.
Well, it's like it to me. It implies that what he says carries a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it carries a lot of weight, and probably it's almost like King Richard the Lionheart, right? Like his big thing is like his courage, right? Brad the voice, he's all about like he comes up with the right thing to say at the right time. He does.
Oh, there we go.
Right? And as soon as he digs himself into a hole explaining something that can't be explained, he strikes gold. And he finds that perfect golden phrase that sums up what he's thinking. You know what I'm talking about?
Brad the voice.
Brad the voice. And
Yeah.
so you would notice then all the moments in your life where that was what Brad the voice would do. I think I got a little Brad the voice in me. I'm filled to the brim with Brad the voice.
Does Brad the voice really like Adam Levine?
Yeah, we're sponsored by the show The Voice. He probably does.
All right.
He probably respects Adam Levine.
You probably, at least a little bit.
Adam Levine's kind of a bad, like he's a bad boy, but he's like a safe bad boy.
Yeah, he's a safe bad boy for sure.
Like he has tattoos.
So
that's a little risky.
Right. But he also played the Super Bowl, so he couldn't be that bad.
Yeah. Michael Jackson played the Super Bowl.
Is he a bad guy? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Things were sketchy in his life at certain points.
Oh, sure. Things were sketchy in his life. Absolutely. Some people can't listen to his music anymore, but I still dig it.
He made good music.
Yeah, his music's great. That's the whole thing about separating an artist from their art.
Mm-hmm.
I stand differently on it depending on the artist. Maybe is I don't know. Is that fickle of me to think differently of different people? Because some people were. I think what it is with Michael Jackson is like they had a documentary.
Okay.
They had a documentary about Michael Jackson recently within the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. That some people thought was like, oh man, that proves that Michael Jackson was a terrible person.
Right.
I never saw it, but from everything that I've researched about it, everything about him being all sketchy with that kind of stuff was suspect at worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, like it was true that he did some weird stuff with kids, but it's not explicitly clear whether any of it, whether it was like, well, it clearly was not malicious in any way. Like he didn't intend to do anybody any harm.
Yeah.
I don't say that excuses anything he may or may not have done, but
right. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely do something wrong without intending to.
Right. Exactly. But a lot of,
if you hit somebody with your electric Hummer
going 0 to 60
and they turn into mist,
right? Just a pink mist.
Yeah.
On your windshield.
And you didn't like feel it because you're in 9,000 pounds of car. Did we talk about that last episode? Actually,
we did. All
right. Anyway,
this is spanning episode.
Yeah, if you're in 9,000 pounds of car and you don't even feel a person as you run them over by accident because you were too busy texting or operating your 3 windshield wipers, then like doesn't mean that you did it because you're like bad.
Now I think you have to upload this episode first so that it's sort of like a cliffhanger. Like they're like, what did they talk about last episode or previously? Anyway, The Michael Jackson
By
thing,
the way, I can't do that because I'll get confused.
no, it's fine.
Because I already numbered the files.
You already numbered the
So
files.
I'll
It's
never be able
okay.
to.
You won't. It won't work out.
No.
All I was going to say about Michael Jackson, before I dig myself into a hole, there are a lot of people who theorize that he was mentally stunted.
Definitely.
And never like grew out of being a kid himself.
Yeah.
So he related more to kids.
Super, like it happens very frequently, I think, with child stars, which
he was. Jackson 5. Big time. Jackson 5 was huge. So a lot of the things that he did, there is evidence to show that he was just trying to be a kid with other kids. Not which that's weird.
Right.
And not normal. But I still think that there's a chance that he didn't actually do anything illegal.
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe you'll watch the documentary and change your mind or something too.
Right, exactly. Because I don't know. I don't know what's in the documentary.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it either. But at the same time, like, I don't. So, who's an example of a person whose opinion on their art you've changed? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah. A lot of people really like Jack Nicholson. And everything I've heard about him is that he's like a nightmare to work with, but also that he's terrible to his fans. Even like he just seems like a sour guy.
Yeah.
Which interestingly enough, well, I don't know. Because even then, I guess I really just don't like him in certain movies, but that isn't because of who he is. That's because I didn't like his acting. I didn't really like him as the Joker. I could see people.
Oh, right. Yeah. He was the Joker.
Yeah, he was the Joker in that one Batman movie. But that's because I didn't watch that one until after I had already seen a lot of other Batman movies where the portrayal of the Joker was different, not even better, just different. And so I have my perception of what kind of character the Joker is more based on The Dark Knight than it is on anything else. So even like Mark Hamill's voice of the Joker in a lot of the animated series, to me, doesn't really feel like
a real depiction of the Joker.
Right, because to me, the Joker is the anarchist guy from The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, so yeah, maybe he's not a good example.
Right, exactly. Because I just didn't like his acting, maybe. Because I think about, I actually watched The Shining a couple of years ago. It was the first time I saw it. And I really liked that movie. And I thought he was great in The Shining. So I don't know. I've also never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I hear he's real insane in that one. Like really just.
I've seen the Oasis music video based off of that.
Off the movie or the book?
The movie.
Okay. Does it have Jack Nicholson in it?
No. I forget who it has in it. I don't know if it has it has the band in it, but I don't know if they play the people who get put in the asylum or what.
To bring it around, not full circle, but in a path of some kind. What's that song called? That one Seal song, the only one that he has?
Kiss from a Rose?
Kiss from a Rose. The music video for Kiss from a Rose is a Batman movie music video. Kiss from a Rose was a movie, or was a song that Seal wrote for the Batman movie.
What?
Yes, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Was it the one with Poison Ivy in it?
Yeah, that one. So it wasn't the Batman Jack Nicholson one.
Forever.
Batman Forever. Yeah. The one where George Clooney plays Batman.
Yeah, Batman 3, Batman Forever.
Is that what it was called?
No, but it was called Batman Forever. Yeah.
It was called Batman Forever. Yeah, watch the music video for Kiss from a Rose. I never knew that. I never knew that I mean, maybe it wasn't for that movie, but that's what
Mhm.
the music video was. The music video was that movie. Yeah,
What?
Batman Forever. I know.
Dude, you can't just pull these revelations out on the show on me. I'm just so I'm at a loss.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good time for some homebrew then.
Yeah, that's a good time for some homebrew.
Man, we should have maybe done this backwards because this one has a lot of meat on its bones. We might pull this one out again later.
Ooh.
So this comes to us from user Haimurashoichi. Haimurashoichi. Yeah, that's the one. This is an expanded weapons list for 5th edition.
Oh.
So you were like, I want to have this weapon, and your DM's like, well, that other weapon doesn't exist. Maybe it's here on this list. Let me give you some examples. And actually, this is interesting because I don't have encyclopedic knowledge of because this includes weapons that do exist in 5th edition.
Right.
This is expanded. So I might say something and be like, hey, isn't that cool? They added this. Maybe it already exists in 5th edition. I actually don't know. So this will be interesting. Maybe later we'll find out whether or not some of these actually exist. But they specifically have, so there's knife, but they have a hidden knife.
Oh, like a Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed. Which has the finesse property is hidden and does 1d6 piercing.
Nice.
Or sorry, 1d4 piercing. That makes more sense. Also costs 25 gold pieces, the most of any of the simple melee weapons. They also have a scythe, a short spear, and a spiked gauntlet.
Oh, interesting.
That one's interesting. Short spear, maybe it already exists, but
yeah, I don't think there's any one-handed spear type weapon though in D&D, and that's what a short spear would be.
Right, exactly. They have a bastard sword, which I think no, because that's really specific. I don't think they have that quite, which does a D10 slashing, and it's heavy, which I believe. No, it's versatile as well as being heavy, which is the thing I was thinking of. So you can actually do a D12 if you use it with both hands.
Right.
Let's see. A chain sickle. A clawed gauntlet.
Cool.
You could have a great scythe.
What is a great scythe?
I don't know. Bigger than a scythe.
Apparently. Scythes are already huge.
3d4 slashing damage with a great scythe.
Holy crap.
A regular scythe does
D4 though. Okay.
2d4. Oh. So the scythes have reach and they're two-handed. That makes sense though. They should be two-handed.
Yeah. No, scythes shouldn't have reach. What they should have instead is a tripping attack.
Tripping attack, yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yep. What about a lance?
Lances might be in there.
Probably already exists.
Yeah.
A hidden blade. That does a D6.
Wait, isn't that the hidden knife? Maybe hidden knife is a different thing.
Hidden knife is different, yes.
Yeah, hidden blade is the Assassin's Creed one.
Yes, hidden blade.
So I don't know what the other thing is.
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is. A kopesh. I'm having trouble.
That's a type of sword, Egyptian sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's like the curved.
Think I know what that is.
One.
Yeah, it's the one that's like straight and it has the thing. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is like a revelation for me. I've been trying to remember what that was called for years, literally years, and it's impossible to look up for some reason.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that I know what that's called now. I'm gonna forget again, but I know maybe where to find it again if I need to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now you know forever, basically.
Oh yeah. I could listen to this anytime. Interestingly enough, Trident is already in the rules, I'm pretty sure.
Definitely, yeah. It's a gladiator weapon, of course it is.
Oh, a war shovel. So you can play Shovel Knight.
I like that.
Not only is there whip, but there's a blade whip.
That sounds like a dangerous weapon.
That's really dangerous. Absolutely.
Is there a penalty if you like miss or something where you hit yourself?
It does no special. Oh, it does say special. So there probably are more rules, but those are down the line.
The weapon I've hurt myself with the most, and I don't mean most frequently, but I mean the most severe injury was a whip chain. And I knocked myself out with it.
Really?
Yeah, it hit me in the face. And I went unconscious. But you know, the kind of going unconscious that you do where you catch yourself on the way down.
Right.
So I was like out for a little bit. And then I was like, oh boy, that was close. What happened was I was spinning it and it was wrapping around me. And I was worried that it was going to hit my face. Had I just let it go, it would have hit my face probably, but it wouldn't have hurt. Instead, I put my arm up and that made it spin faster into my face.
Into your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
Yeah, those things are dangerous.
I was lucky that it hit me like squarely in the nose.
Yeah, otherwise
and didn't like break my orbital or something like that.
Hit you in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
That would have sucked.
So they have shuriken and kunai on here for all you weebs. And a wrist bow. Cavalry hammer, a ranseur. I don't know what that is.
Whoa, I don't know what that is either.
An ultra great sword.
Ultra great. Okay, give me the damage on that boy.
3d8 slashing.
Does it have some kind of like you can only use it once every other turn?
It has a tag on it, a property tag called brutal, and another one called unwieldy.
Unwieldy probably means you can't use your proficiency bonus with it. That's what I would think.
Yeah, that's what I would guess too. A flame bellows. That sounds so cool. Basically a flamethrower.
Yeah, little magical.
Yeah, like a flamethrower.
I just want to see somebody run up in combat and be like.
Okay, so maybe so it does tell you what the weapon properties mean.
Okay.
But I think we can save those for another time.
Yeah. Because
there's a lot of them. And I won't go through all of them, but it would be nice to be able to go through some other stuff.
The weapon properties are a great. They're a fun thing because what you really want is you want a weapon with like each combination of properties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just want to get like the whole array of weapons.
Right. You want to get a smorgasbord. You want the sommelier to come at you with like all the different that's something from John Wick that I really like. They call the like guy who he buys his weapons from the sommelier.
Yeah.
And he like describes each of them like a course of a meal.
Yeah.
I just remember that the knives were dessert. Man, those movies have such good world building and like, man,
they do.
The flavor of it is so good. Okay, anyway. That's all she wrote, man.
That's it. The fat lady has sung.